Hi guys, how are you? Janet, how did you do in your architecture historical classes?
Hi, Caroline, Pedro. Well, it left me thinking about the old architecture of Lima. Pedro, do you know that in the past the buildings were made by a system structure of adobe and panels of quincha?
Yeah, so I heard that before about the panels of Quincha, and it's so interesting, and I like it. But I want to talk about the tapial walls. Do you know about the tapial walls? It's a very interesting structured material because it's specifically to use in extreme climates and extreme weathers. For example, in the Andes of our country, specifically in Cusco, for example. The walls are very thick, for example, 15 or 20 inches, and they are very colorful. That is a one important thing that a lot of people likes because they are made with clay of different colors, with a pile of different colors. What do you think about that, Caroline?
Oh, well, the last class my teacher talked about that. For example, in Lima, we are influenced by different architectural styles, such as the neoclassic, like a Palace of Justice, or neo-Gothic, like a Seguro Rimac building, or maybe the colonial, like a Two May Square, among others. I think that this variety guides architecture, increment the value of the city. And Janet, what do you think about the architecture today? Do you think that it is better?
Yes, I think that improved because architectural strategies have been implemented to combat the climate change. Pedro, do you know some well-known buildings from ancient civilization?
Sure. Yes. For example, my favorite culture, Peruvian culture, is Inca's culture. So, for example, in that ancient civilization, the main principal material that were using it, there was stones. Stones was the principal material that Inca's culture were using there. Where is the attraction? The aesthetics looks like architecture integrate with the nature. So that's a very good look for all the foreign people and for all the world. What about what do you think, Caroline, about that?
Well, I know other type kind of architecture. I know about the classical architecture of the Acropolis in Athens, which has a three temple built in marble. Well, the classical architecture predominate the style Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian columns. These columns has a vertical illustration and it has a great composition from the base to the shaft. These temples didn't respect to the human scales because we are so large and tall, and use a palette color like a bronze predominates the bronze color, and this impact by the red color of the glabbed roof. Janet, do you know any other?
Yes, I know the Huacapuyana, that is an archaeological site belonging to Lima culture. It is built almost entirely with adobe and sand. They using a range of colors in brown. It's formed by a pyramid of 25 meters high. I have a good impact to the environment because the materials are naturals. Pedro, what do you think buildings will be like in the future?
So that's an interesting and exciting question because it's my favorite about thinking about the future. So maybe the human rights will be able to do some buildings in Mars and other planets. I hope so. The other thing that I was thinking about the future is they will be able to support entire farms indoors. For example, with plants, with animals inside a building and a skyscraper. We can have buildings underwater too. So that's important. What do you think?
Well, I think that the building of the future maybe will be a smart building. because I think that you can be controlled automatically with the for a panel control that adapt the client's necessities, and this integral with the architecture of the building. And you, Janet, what is your opinion about it? Do you think the same?
Yes, well, I think buildings will be in the future very high with a lot of technology, maybe have different or innovative shapes and have large windows too. But do you think architecture affect people's moods?
Yes, yes, of course, absolutely. Because in the way of the psychologists, urban psychologists, are talking about the respect for green areas in terms of buildings. So how to do a build and a skyscraper without respecting the green areas. It directly affects the environment since it creates shadows like shapes in the project and protects it. In addition, we could talk about the green areas is helping to the environment, oxygenates the environment to is so important to affect that in a positive way for the people moods. What about that question, Caroline? What do you think?
Well, at a macro level, the architecture affects directly the city because the urban design is required to create a orderly city, and that also and that all systems supply correctly. However, if a city is created without a design, it's possible that exists invasions, and maybe the city can be expanding horizontally. Well, if this case base if that oh, excuse me, okay. Okay, if which means the people do not have access to the water, electricity, or drainage, or transporting, that this create panic on the people. Janet, what do you think about it?
Yes, I think that architecture affects people's moods because the interior and exterior design of a building produce different sensations, positive and negative, from anguish, happiness, or boredom. And the architecture of building is capable of improving the experience of the people who live and learn and work in them. For example, the architecture of Google that make their workers work happy and be efficient. Oh guys, I have to go and make my model scale. Bye, see you later.
Bye, Janet, no problem.
Bye. Bye.